Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of MC Squared, the Monday Coffee Conversation. Got mine with me today. Hope you got yours. Let's get into it. Been a couple weeks since we've done a fresh video. We've had holiday and had a special throwback about Memorial Day, and then we moved one up to a Tuesday. So we're glad to be back in our regular swing of things, at least for a week or two. Something else may come up. You never know. But today we got that good coffee. And when I say good coffee, I mean church coffee. This is the kind that normally would make you immune to just about any disease you've ever heard of. Make you a better athlete, make you smarter, and pretty much make it to where you can survive about anything. And church coffee, man, that's a different breed of coffee. But this cup is even better because it is Monday afternoon, and this is left over from last night's service. So, who knows? I may be able to fly or something by the time I get done drinking this. I wanted to share something with y'all today. To be honest with you, I don't even have any scripture. This is something I saw last night, and it resonated with me pretty hard. And this goes to all of us because this has probably happened to all of us at some point. But especially to those who may not be going to church or being involved in ministry or anything right now because they've been hurt by someone in the church. And like I said, it happens to all of us. We're all human, things happen. And we get mistakes happen, and we get frustrated and flustered, and things happen. But I want to relate it, the way that this guy that I saw last night talked about it. He was talking about music. But I want to change it up just a little bit to something more that relates to us locally and that I can relate to. If you notice, I've got on a Clinch River Mudcats t-shirt. And the Mudcats is our local youth football league, peanut football. And it goes from ages 4 with flag football up to, those in 6th and 7th grade. And if you've never watched youth sports, I encourage you to come out and watch them, because it's a great thing, and I guarantee you'll have a good time and probably eat really good too. But especially this flag football, man. These little 4 to 6 year olds, they don't have pads. They're just out there, They don't know anything about the game yet, and that's the whole point, is to teach them. But they do some of the funniest things, like they'll be running straight towards the goal line and be within 2 feet to score a touchdown, and they'll see that line, and it's like they think it's a brick wall, so they turn around and they run the other way. And I saw them a couple of, in the past do that 2 or 3 times and just keep running back and forth. And if you've ever watched Little League Baseball and T-ball especially, man, I've been watching some T-ball with my nephew Jude playing this year. Those cats are a trip to watch, man. They play in the dirt. The ball gets hit, and you see 12 kids run at it all at one time. And they're out there to learn. That's the point. But they really don't know what they're doing yet. And even if they do, their little bodies, they're just not ready for this type of stuff. But I've never walked away from a flag football game with kindergartners, or a little league baseball game, or even a high school game, and seen the mistakes that all these young people make and said, you know what? That was awful. I think I'm just going to quit watching football because of that. The freshman quarterback threw 3 interceptions. That little kid in 2nd grade missed his block like every play. The kid out there on second base at T-ball was chasing bugs and talking to the guy beside of him instead of watching the game. I'm not watching sports anymore because of what I've seen these kids do. We don't say that. We giggle, we laugh, we like, oh, they're having a great time, let's get them a hot dog. And then we go home and turn the TV on and watch the pros do it. Because we know that the pros know what they're doing. We know that the pros don't make as many mistakes. So we don't compare what these youth league kids do in sports to Major League Baseball or the NFL, because there is no comparison. You've got kids versus highly trained, nearly perfect freaks of nature athletically, and there's no way to compare those two. But yet when we get hurt by someone in the church, sometimes we want to give up on God. We'll say, well, if church people are going to be like that, then I don't want nothing to do with God. See, the thing is, church people are like those 4 to 6 year old flag football players. God is the professional. God is the one that don't make mistakes. God is the one that knows what he's doing. Church people, a lot of times, whether we've been in church for a year or for 60 years, we still don't know what we're doing because we're human. And because we have all the imperfections of the fleshly body that we're in. Yeah, we don't like to be prideful. Sometimes pride sneaks in. We don't like to handle things with anger, but sometimes anger sneaks in. We don't want to be jealous of somebody else, but sometimes envy and jealousy sneaks in because we are still in this imperfect fleshly body. But God is perfect. You could say, and you probably have been, hurt by someone in the church in the past. I have. And I've probably hurt people in the church. Unintentionally. I'm sure I have. But you can't hold that against the profession. You can't hold that against God because it wasn't God that hurt you. Yes, it might have been people of God that hurt you. But it's also little football players that make all these crazy mistakes in flag football, but they're not the professionals. See, we as Christians, we mess up a lot. I think the world has 2 different viewpoints of Christians. One, we're either not worth anything because of our beliefs, or that we think we're perfect and unattainable to those non-Christians. And see, both of those are not true. Because we know that we're not perfect. We know that we mess up. There's things that we don't want. Paul mentions it. The things, I could have used that scripture, couldn't I? The things that I want to do, I don't do. And the things that I don't want to do, I do. I feel that evil is present with me always. Because we're still in this fleshly body. Doing a lot of rambling, and that's cool, I guess. But to sum it all up, if you go to a peanut football game this fall, and you see a bunch of mistakes, don't make you say, well, I'm never watching football again because of the way those kids played. And if you've been hurt by someone in the church, don't turn your back on God and put the blame on him, because it wasn't him. God is love. God is perfect. God's children, God's people. Though we don't like it, we are imperfect. And we mess up. We say things. We do things. We do things to each other. We do things to those who are outside the church, just like every other person in the world does. It's because we're imperfect. So I just wanted to share this in case someone's listening that has been hurt by someone in the church and says, I'm not ever getting back. I don't want nothing to do with that. It came from church people. God's people, and they act like it. How many times have you heard or even said that? They're supposed to be Christians. They're supposed to be God's people. That's right. We are. And we're supposed to live up to the standards that God has set. But we can't. We can strive for it every day, but we can't get to the standards that he has set until we leave this earth, until we get that rejuvenated body, until we are with him in eternity. But he has that now. He has that perfection. He has that endless and undying and enduring and love that will not hurt you. May sting sometimes because we want to continue doing things that we want to do. So God's love may sting when he lets us know that, no, can't do that. But it's not a hate. It's not an intentional thing. It's because he loves us. So put all the blame that you want, and listen, I know from experience, 90% of the time it's legit. Church hurt is real. There's a lot of people sitting at home and won't step foot in the doors of the church because something a Christian has done or said to them. Get that. Been there. Done that, unfortunately. But don't let that turn you against the God that they believe in. Because they messed up. He won't. They may be so full of pride that they won't come and apologize. They might not even know they hurt you, so they won't come and apologize. You won't have to worry about that with God. God will never have a reason to apologize because He is perfect and He loves you. So if you want the real thing, if you want to watch real football with very few mistakes, watch it the pros on TV, but don't hold it against these little kids. And if you want to just go out and have a good time on a Saturday, go watch the little kids. And when they make all the mistakes and we giggle and laugh, they're learning. Don't hold that against God. Don't hold that against the pros. Because us as Christians, yeah, we want to be on the top-notch level, but we're still learning. We're still making mistakes. We're still doing things that we shouldn't be doing. We're still missing blocks and just running up and down the field and playing in the dirt while things are going on around us. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope maybe somebody's listening where it's encouraged them to don't quit on God because people have hurt you. Run closer to Him and get that comfort that He promises and only He can give. See you guys next time on MC2, the Monday Coffee Conversation.